Let's talk about the 7 warning signs that you may have parasites. You probably already have parasites. But the good news is they're not bothering you. They haven't turned into some disease. The first sign is fatigue. Number 2, a rash. And this is because of your immune system reacting. Because when a parasite invades the barrier in your gut, for example, and gets in your blood, you can have an immune reaction that shows up in your skin. Number 3, weight loss with no reason for losing weight. Now, you're not on an exercise program. You haven't changed your diet. The parasite is eating a lot of your nutrition. It's living in your small intestine. It's thriving. You might just start developing nutritional deficiencies. Number 4 is bloating, because there's a parasite in your gut and it's creating an immune reaction. Number 5, teeth grinding. Do you grind your teeth a lot at night? Think parasite. Number 6, itching, especially in your private parts, like anal itching. And number 7, anxiety. And so when you have an imbalance of microorganisms, a parasite, that's going to affect your head. And that could be related to brain fog as well. There's an interesting theory. It's called the Red Queen hypothesis, where you have the host and the parasite that is co-evolving, existing together, competing for resources. Each side develops new strategies. And for example, if we never had parasites or pathogens, which create infection, it would never force us to become stronger, to develop certain strategies of survival. Your immune system learns from it and becomes stronger, so the next time you're infected, you have antibodies sitting there waiting to defend you. Our immune system develops a defense against parasites. There's all sorts of chemicals that are released by cells to help kill the worm or whatever organism there is. On the flip side, parasites have their own strategies. One strategy is to evade your immune system. And one way they do that is to downgrade your ability to absorb vitamin D. In fact, 10% of all of the genes that you have are associated with vitamin D. And vitamin D also controls a lot of the T cells, the ones that are the quarterback that control and coordinate your immune system. Another wild strategy from a parasite is to change the behavior of the host. One example of this is something called Toxoplasma gondii, which causes the rodent, the mouse, to become fearless. So it will be more likely to be eaten by a cat, because Toxoplasma gondii only can thrive in cats. So somehow they have to alter the behavior to be able to survive. Another strategy that parasites use is to take a certain protein and cover themselves to evade the immune system. And because this protein mimics something in your body or something that's benign. Another strategy is to be able to go dormant and wait until you're old, you're stressed out, until the immune system is weak, and then they can kick in and actually come out and start surviving better, because they can't survive if your immune system is really strong. And so some microorganisms can change its relationship and become parasitic if the environment changes in your body. Let's take, for example, E. coli. In the large intestine, E. coli lives in a friendly manner. But when that E. coli goes up into the small intestine, and in that environment, that E. coli becomes parasitic. Another microbe that can become a parasite is H. pylori. Most ulcers come from H. pylori. And one survival mechanism that this H. pylori does is they release something that alkalizes the stomach, because they can survive better if there's not as much acid. You can even get a parasite from breathing dirt particles in the air from some construction, because there's a lot of microorganisms in the soil. Or what about you have a pet, a cat or a dog that sleeps with you, that you kiss? Animals are outside, they can pick up a parasite and they can very easily give you a parasite as well. Another way to get parasites is when you take antibiotics, for example. You literally kill off the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. This really puts you at a major risk immune-wise. Also realize if you consume a lot of refined sugar and junk, you're going to feed these parasites, right? They love that. Refined starches and flour products. You want to get rid of all that. Now I want to get into what to do if you actually have parasites. What can you do to clean them out or kill them and remove them from the body? These herbal remedies will kill these microbes as a natural antibiotic. Sometimes there's certain side effects. You can get constipated, and you can even get flu-like symptoms for like 2 weeks. I'll tell you really what to do to prevent the negative effects. Take something to keep the bile ducts open and free-flowing. And I would recommend finding a product called TUDCA. TUDCA is a type of bile salt that helps open up the flow of sludge through the bile ducts itself. I would take TUDCA for 2 days, and you want to take it on an empty stomach. Take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Then you can roll into what I'm going to say next, which is a series of natural anti-parasitic herbal things and foods to help purge and kill parasites directly and indirectly. What you're really trying to do is get rid of the excess of these parasites to the point where your immune system can then take hold and take over and regulate it, so there's not this overwhelming infection. I don't think there's going to ever be a point where there's 0 parasites in your body. But if your immune system is strong, you're totally fine. The 2 remedies called wormwood extract and clove are really good at killing parasitic eggs. You don't need to take a lot of this. You usually see directions on the label. Just follow what those directions are. And I recommend taking these remedies with a meal. I mean, you're not creating a toxic effect in your body. You're just taking enough of these to make it very uncomfortable for these microbes to exist, because all the remedies I'm telling you are anti-parasitic. The next really important remedy would be black walnut extract. I don't know if you've ever seen a black walnut. We have several trees in the hall. It is so bitter, and it has this incredible strong odor that is very, very anti-parasitic. The next thing, and I'm going to recommend to have this in your food, is 2 or 3 garlic cloves a day. Garlic, hands down, is one of the most anti-parasitic remedies in existence. That would be the basics. There's other things you can take too, like oregano oil. That's another good one, but you don't necessarily always need to overdo it, because just like it can kill off a parasite, it can create a reaction on your body as well if you're overdoing it. Like even pumpkin seeds, right? There's a certain chemical that's really good for parasites. It actually causes paralysis of the parasite. As far as a probiotic, I just would include daily fermented vegetables, raw sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir. And lastly, we do not want to forget this, vitamin D. Remember, the parasite downgraded the vitamin D receptor. So unless you have enough vitamin D, your immune system might not be strong enough to deal with it. And I would take no less than 20,000 IUs, but I'd probably take 30 or maybe even 40,000 IUs of vitamin D3. To really make sure that it works, you want to take the magnesium and zinc with vitamin D. Thanks for watching.